That distance, it grants power to time itself.
Wow. That's a heavy statement to start the day with, isn't it?
It is, but it completely stopped me in my tracks when I was reading the materials. The quote goes on. It decides the value of a human being, and that is why I have dedicated my entire life to it.
And the it he's talking about, that's the 100 meters.
Exactly,
Yeah.
the 100-meter dash.
Yep.
And that's from Togashi, who is really the central figure, the protagonist of the story we're unpacking today. And to be honest, when I first read that, I sort of had to put the papers down.
Right.
Because we usually think of time as the master, time eats everything, time heals all wounds, all that stuff. But Togashi flips it. He's saying, no, the distance is the master. The distance is what gives the time its meaning.
It's a really profound inversion of how we think about, physics and life, really. I mean, think about 10 seconds. On a normal day, normal Tuesday afternoon, 10 seconds is absolutely nothing.
It's gone before you notice it.
It's the time it takes to sneeze, or wait for a web page to load, or, to scroll past a bad take on social media. It is completely disposable currency. But Togashi's whole argument is that if you frame those 10 seconds within this rigid, unforgiving context of 100 meters,
Suddenly they're everything.
suddenly those 10 seconds weigh as much as a lifetime. They become incredibly dense.
And he doesn't even stop there. He makes this other claim that really, really set the hook for me. He says that inside those fleeting 10 seconds, because for an elite athlete, that's all it is, the entire spectrum of human emotion is revealed.
Yeah, that list he gives is fascinating. It's not just, I hope I win. It's fear.
Deep fear.
Jealousy, the crushing weight of loneliness, which is an interesting one for a race. And then, only at the very peak, that explosive happiness.
All of that compressed into a single straight line. Which, it just sounds physically impossible. My brain can barely decide what to order for lunch in 10 seconds, let alone cycle through the entire human experience.
Right. It sounds like pure hyperbole until you actually look at the sport, until you look at this story. And really, that is the thesis we're exploring today.
Mm-hmm.
We are diving deep into the film 100 Mate, or 100 Meters, and it's an adaptation of a manga by the artist Uto. But before you, the listener, roll your eyes and think, okay, another sports movie about running, I know the drill.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to look at the reaction to this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because this isn't just a sports movie.
No, I saw the notes you sent over on the social media reaction. It's kind of wild. You look at Reddit, Letterboxd, Twitter, Facebook. People are losing their minds over this film.
And it's how they're reacting. That's the key. That's the interesting part. They're not talking about split times.
No.
They're not debating shoe technology or muscle definition or anything like that. They're talking about crying.
Yeah, I saw this one comment that just stood out to me. Someone wrote, "Why am I sobbing over people running in a straight line?"
And that's the consensus. That's what everyone is saying. Viewers are finding themselves just like weeping because the film frames the sprint not as a game.
But as a life or death gamble.
Exactly. It taps into something primal. It stops being about who gets the gold medal and starts being about who survives this existential crisis of just being alive. The audience realizes they're not watching athletes, they're watching people trying to outrun their own demons.
So that is our mission for today's deep dive. We're going to unpack that intensity. We're going to try and figure out how 10 seconds can equal a lifetime. We'll talk about the psychology of winning, the absolute terror of losing, and what the story calls the price of glory.
And I suppose we have to do the responsible thing here.
The warning. It's time.
It's the warning. We're going to spoil this story. And not just a little bit, we're going to spoil it thoroughly. We're talking about the beginning, the middle, the twist, and the very ambiguous end.
So if you haven't seen 100 Met and you care about surprises, this is your moment. Press pause, go watch it, then come on back.
We'll be here.
But if you're ready to get existential about cardio, let's go.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's set the stage. The central dynamic on the surface looks like a pretty standard rivalry setup. We have Togashi, who is the genius, and we have Komiya, the newcomer.
It's the classic trope, right? The hare and the tortoise, the prodigy and the grinder, a tale as old as time. You feel like you know exactly where it's going.
But the source material, it explicitly warns us right from the start. It says, this competition is just the outer shell.
Correct. And if you watch this looking for a Rocky-style training montage and some clear victory where the underdog lifts the trophy at the end, you're going to be very, very confused.
So it's not about that.
It's about fate. It's about the choices that drive a person to what the text calls the most attractive distance in athletics.
Okay, I want to pause on that. Is it really the most attractive? I feel like the marathon has a lot of romance attached to it. You know, the loneliness of the long-distance runner and all that poetry.
The marathon is romantic, sure, I'll give you that. It's about suffering and endurance and this long, drawn-out battle with yourself. But the 100 meters, that's not romance. That's royalty.
Royalty?
Think about the history. Since the 1896 Olympics, when the 100 meters was first introduced, it has been the event. It's the one that stops the world for 10 seconds. In the story, it's called the answer to everything.
That phrase pops up a lot in the notes. The answer to everything. It feels so absolute, so final.
Because there's a brutal simplicity to it that life just doesn't have. I mean, in life, your boss might hate you for no reason.
Right.
Your relationships are complicated. Politics are a mess. You can work your tail off and still fail completely. But on the track, in that straight line, if I run faster than you, I win. Period.
There's no ambiguity.
None. I am the king.
Yeah.
Running faster than anyone else solves all your problems. It's the ultimate silencer of doubt.
I can see how that would be incredibly addictive, especially if you're someone like Togashi, who we find out pretty quickly. Well, he didn't exactly choose this life. He was sort of born into it.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Togashi's curse of talent.
Which is such a counterintuitive idea. Usually we think of talent as a gift.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you're so lucky you can paint, or you're so lucky you're good at math. We envy it.
But imagine playing a video game where you have God mode turned on from the start. You can't die. You one-shot every enemy.
It's fun for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 tops.
Exactly. Then it just becomes a chore. It's administrative. You're just going through the motions.
Yeah.
That was Togashi as a kid. He won without effort. He was winning races in elementary school while, looking at the clouds.
And because of that, there's no joy. The source material is so clear on this. He won, but felt nothing.
Nothing at all. It was just Tuesday. So he develops this personal code, this almost monk-like principle to deal with it.
The principle of effort.
Yes. He decides, as a child, mind you, that he will always run with full force. It doesn't matter if it's the Olympics or just some meaningless school assembly race, he will go 100%.
Why? Is it to show off? To prove he can beat them even worse?
No, and that's the fascinating part. It's to respect himself and to respect the concept of effort. He knew he didn't need to try to win, so he had to manufacture the effort just to give the act some meaning.
Wow. So he's trying to simulate the struggle that normal people feel naturally.
He's play acting at being human because the gods or genetics or whatever gave him too much speed. It's actually quite tragic when you think about it that way.
It is tragic, and then comes this moment that seems to seal his fate. The interview with Nigami.
Nigami. He's the older star at this point, right? The current king of speed.
The reigning king, yeah. So Togashi is young. He's interviewing with this legend he's looked up to. And in the middle of their conversation, Togashi has this sudden cold realization. It's not arrogance, it's just data processing. He looks at Nigami and thinks, I can beat him.
Just like that.
Yeah.
The hero realizes the mentor is mortal.
And the crazy thing is, Nigami sees it too. Nigami looks right back at this kid and says something like, your talent is 50 times greater than you realize.
Okay, now for 99% of people on Earth, that would be the best moment of their entire life. Validation from your hero.
The torch is being passed?
But for Togashi, what does it sound like to him?
It sounds like a prison sentence.
It is a prison sentence. Because if you are 50 times better than everyone else, then winning isn't an achievement anymore. It's just a baseline requirement. If you win, nobody's impressed. That's what you're supposed to do. But if you lose,
it's a catastrophe, a total failure.
You're not running toward glory anymore. You're running away from shame. That's the curse of talent.
So what does he do? How does he cope with that?
He does the only thing a trapped animal can do. He hides.
He starts this strategic retreat. He deliberately chooses to go to a normal high school.
A school with a terrible track team. A school where nobody cares about sprinting. It's this incredibly sophisticated form of self-sabotage. He's trying to escape the pressure, to escape his own talent.
He even fakes an injury. I found that detail so telling about his mindset. He spreads rumors that his leg is bad so people just won't ask him to run.
He's building a shield around himself. Oh, I'd love to be the hero, guys, but oh, this poor leg of mine. It allows him to be mediocre without having to confront the fact that he's choosing to be mediocre. It protects his ego.
He's in this limbo. He doesn't dare to quit because running is his entire identity, but he doesn't dare to run for real because the pressure of being the genius is just too high.
He's the ideal model on the surface. Polite, handsome, hardworking, but he's actually sprinting straight toward a dead end.
Until Asakusa shows up.
The persistent classmate. Every story needs one.
The catalyst.
She is. She just keeps pestering him to join the club over and over. And finally, just to shut her up, he agrees to do one trial run. Just one. And the scene, this is where the whole story pivots. Because he steps onto that track, probably rolling his eyes, thinking, let's just get this over with, and he starts to run.
And the body takes over.
The body remembers what the mind was trying to forget. The moment he hits top speed, that dead end in his soul just, it breaks open. He realizes he still wants it. His logical brain says hide, but his legs say fly.
It's like the tragedy of an addict. You think you're clean, you think you're out, but one taste and you are right back in.
That's a great way to put it. But here's the rub. While this feels like a triumph in that moment, in the long run, it just sets him up for what the story calls the adult tragedy.
Right, because we flash forward, the high school days are over, Togashi is now 25.
And in the world of elite sprinting, 25 is complicated.
It's the quarter-life crisis on steroids.
For real. His performance is fluctuating now, the God mode is glitching, he's dealing with real injuries, not the fake ones he used to talk about. And there is this one scene. It is absolutely heartbreaking. He's just watching some children play in a park.
Just kids running around.
Yeah, running freely, screaming and laughing. Just that primal, innocent movement with no goal, no timer, no pressure, and Togashi just collapses.
He breaks down right there.
Totally. He asks himself this devastating question, what do I have left after 25 years?
Oh, that question, what do I have left?
He has this sudden, crushing realization that he traded his entire youth, his friendships, his emotional development, everything, for speed. And now the speed is starting to leave him. So what remains? Just an empty shell.
And the medical advice he gets at this time just shows how completely disconnected the normal world is from his reality.
Oh yeah, the doctor.
The doctor says something like, just rest, there's always a tournament next year.
Which is perfectly logical advice for a normal person with a normal job. Hey, you're hurt. Take a break.
But to a professional athlete, next year is a myth. In sprinting, next year is an eternity. Someone else will have taken your spot. The window is so small.
And the source material really dives deep into the societal coldness he experiences here. It paints a really grim, unsentimental picture of the professional sports industry.
It's the business side of glory.
Absolutely. We see companies starting to terminate his endorsement contracts because he's not winning every single race. We see agents who used to buy him lavish dinners now giving him these fake smiles and not returning his calls.
And the juniors, the young up-and-comers, the way they look at him has changed. They aren't looking at him with awe anymore.
They're looking at him with pity.
Or worse, they're looking at him like prey, like, move over, old man, your time is done.
There's that one phrase from the notes that just captures it all. The bitter smile of a genius past his prime. That image just sticks with you.
It's the horrible realization that the world loves a winner, but it has zero patience for a legend who is struggling. It is just brutal.
So that's Togashi. He's the sun that is starting to set. Now, let's flip the coin. Let's talk about Komiya.
Komiya, the path of thorns.
These two could not be more different. Togashi is all elegance and effortless grace. Komiya is. Well, the notes say he has a crooked running form.
He's awkward. He's physically unremarkable. He is not built for this sport. He has zero natural gift. The only thing they share is a classroom.
But he is completely drawn to Togashi.
Is it admiration? Is he a fan?
It's more complex than that. He's attracted to Togashi's speed, yes, but Kamiya's own motivation for running is fascinatingly dark. He doesn't run because it's fun. He doesn't run for gold medals, at least not initially. He runs to escape.
The idea of running as a prayer.
That's the line. Running is a prayer.
What do you think that means exactly?
Well, think about what a prayer is in a moment of crisis. It's a plea for help. It's a desperate call for relief. Komiya is full of anxiety. He has this deep-seated inferiority complex. He feels small and worthless. But when he runs, when his lungs are burning and his heart is pounding at 200 beats per minute.
The anxiety can't catch him.
Exactly. The physical pain of the sprint is so overwhelming it drowns out the emotional pain of his life. It's the only time his brain is quiet.
So it's basically self-medication.
It is. It's anesthesia through pure exertion.
But that kind of relief, it's temporary, so that means it can turn into obsession.
It has to, because as soon as you stop running, the anxiety comes flooding back. So you have to run more and more. He starts biking 2 hours to school every day just to train his legs.
2 hours each way.
The details are a little fuzzy, but the point is the sheer insane level of exertion. He stays late every single night. He works harder than anyone else in the entire story.
But the source material makes a very specific and important distinction here. It says, he doesn't actually love running.
And that's the whole tragedy of Komiya. He thinks he loves it because he dedicates his entire life to it, but he's actually just obsessed with the result. He has this belief that if he can just win, if he can beat Togashi, the genius, it will cure him.
He's looking for a magical transformation at the finish line. He thinks the 100 meters will answer everything for him too.
But his body knows the truth. And this is where it gets really interesting psychologically. He develops a block. He starts to slow down, just slightly, right before the finish line.
Wait, really? After all that work, all that sacrifice, he hits the brakes at the very end.
Subconsciously, yeah. Think about it. If running is your escape, if the track is the only place you feel safe from your anxiety, why would you ever want the race to end?
Because crossing the finish line means going back to reality.
That means going back to being yourself. Or there's another possibility. He's terrified that he will win, cross that line first, and realize he's still the same miserable person. That winning didn't fix him, so he sabotages himself to keep the dream, the potential cure, alive.
And Tsunade, the team captain, he sees this happening.
Tsunade is a voice of brutal, compassionate truth in this story. He pulls Komiya aside and tells him, flat out, quit.
Wow, that's a hard thing to hear from your captain.
It is, but Tsunade sees that Komiya is running like a moth into a flame. He sees the self-destruction. He understands that effort without love is just a form of torture. He's trying to save him from himself.
Does Komiya listen?
Of course not. What obsessed person ever listens?
Yeah.
So we flash forward 10 years for him too. And surprisingly, he's successful.
He actually made it.
He made it. He's uninjured, which is a miracle given how he trained, his achievements to his name. But there's a hollowness to it. He's questioning the joy of victory. He won, but the answer wasn't waiting for him at the finish line.
It's the hollow victory. It seems like nobody in this story is allowed to just be happy with a medal.
Because the story argues that the medal is just a piece of metal. It's inert. It can't fix your soul. And to really drive this point home, the story gives us two key figures, two philosophers who have already seen the other side of this. We have to start with Nigami.
The guy who validated Togashi all those years ago.
Right. And in the present, he serves as the ghost of Christmas future for Togashi. He was the genius. Then he got hurt. And he was forced into retirement.
And he has a pretty intense philosophy about perfection, doesn't he?
Very intense. He believes that if you're a true professional, if you've been to the top, then running for fun is impossible. He says, once you have tasted the peak, you cannot enjoy the valley. He tells Togashi that if running is his life, then he must be perfect. Anything less is a betrayal.
I guess if you've flown a fighter jet, riding a bicycle feels a bit slow.
That's the perfect analogy. But the tragedy, and also the beauty of Nigami, is that he tried a comeback. This is a crucial scene in the story. After half a year off, half a year of healing, he got back on the track for a trial run. He gave it everything he had left. He poured his entire soul into it.
And the time, what did he run?
12.13 seconds.
Okay, so for our listeners, 12.13 is fast for a high school kid. It's blazing fast for a regular person off the street. But for a former Olympian,
It's a snail's pace. It's mediocrity. For him, it's an absolute failure.
so this is the crucial part. How does he react? Does he scream? Does he throw his shoes? Does he break down?
He smiles. A genuine smile. He accepts it.
Acceptance. That is a rare commodity in this story.
It's the wisest thing we see anyone do. He realizes in that moment that his peak is behind him. And he finds a kind of beauty in that resignation. He understands when to stop. He burned out, as the story says, but he did it without shame. He gave everything he had, the tank is empty, and he is finally at peace with that.
That is a form of wisdom that Togashi and Komiya are both desperately, desperately missing. They're still fighting the current. Nigami has managed to step onto the bank and just watch it flow by.
Which brings us to the other philosopher, the most interesting one, in my opinion, Jaitsu.
Jaitsu, the true lover of the sport.
Yes, Jaitsu is the one who finally cracks Komiya's shell. He's the one who helps remove that mental block at the finish line. And he does it with this strange, paradoxical riddle.
Not afraid to lose, but also afraid to lose.
It sounds like a Zen koan, doesn't it? Just nonsense on the surface.
It really does. Break that down for us. What does that even mean?
Jaitsu's whole philosophy is that fear is not the enemy. Fear is the proof of the challenge. If you aren't afraid, you aren't really living. He says safety is boring. Safety is false. To truly live, you have to be on the edge, and being on the edge is scary.
So you should cultivate fear. That seems unhealthy.
Not cultivate it, but embrace it as part of the process. He has this very interesting way of talking about the human body. He calls it a patchwork of cells.
A patchwork of cells. That's very biological, kind of unromantic.
But it's freeing. He's saying, I am not a legend. I am not a failure. I'm just a collection of biology attempting to move really fast. It removes the ego from the equation. It lowers the stakes from my entire identity is on the line to let's see what these cells can do today.
And he confronts the nature of fear directly. There's a critic mentioned in the source material, a William Vibani, who sums this whole thing up perfectly.
Oh, I have that quote right here. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Talented people fear failure. Hardworking people fear unrewarded effort.
And that's it. That is the perfect diagnosis of our two main characters. Togashi, the talent, fears failure because he's supposed to be the best.
And Komiya, the hard worker, fears unrewarded effort because he's sacrificing his entire life for this one thing. If it doesn't pay off, what was it all for?
So where does Jaitsu fit in? What does he fear?
Jaitsu has transcended both. He's been undefeated for so long that he actually feels empty. He's bored. He's looking for someone to beat him. He wants to feel the threat of losing again. He wants the fear back.
He wants to lose. That's a wild concept for an athlete.
He wants the struggle. Winning has become just as boring for him as it was for Togashi as a kid.
Yeah.
The joy is in the fight, not the victory.
And this plays out with the character Kaido, right? He's the proof of this theory.
Yes, Kaido, the former prodigy who became a shadow.
No.
He illustrates Jaitsu's point beautifully. He goes from being beaten by Jaitsu and Komiya to becoming this unexpected dark horse winner. And when Kaido finally beats
Jaitsu is devastated. His career is over.
no, he retires.
Happy.
Totally fulfilled. He found his limit. He found a worthy rival who pushed him past his peak. He lost, and he realized, that was a good race. The competition itself was the reward, and he walked away completely content.
So we have all these philosophies swirling around. The genius who's bored by victory, that's Togashi. The struggler who is in pain from the effort, that's Komiya. The resigned who is at peace with his limits, Nigami. And the lover who just wants a good challenge, Jaitsu. And it all converges finally on this relationship between Togashi and Komiya.
That dynamic is the absolute heart of the film. It's not just a rivalry. It's a kind of mutual validation. Togashi's Komiya's idol. He's the standard of perfection that Komiya's chasing. But Komiya, with his ugly, crooked, desperate running, he serves as proof to Togashi that what he does matters.
They need each other to define themselves.
They absolutely do. The 100-meter track becomes this sacred space where their spirits intersect. It's the genius versus the ordinary. It's grace versus grit. It's the eternal struggle.
And the climax of the film builds to this one final race. It's the showdown we've been waiting for. The gun goes off. They are neck and neck. The animation is probably going crazy here. Muscles tearing, sweat flying, all of it.
The whole audience is leaning forward.
Right.
This is it. This is the moment that will finally answer the question, who wins? Is it innate talent or is it relentless hard work?
And
the film cuts away.
excuse me, what?
It just cuts away. We do not see who crosses the finish line first.
That is bold. That's infuriating.
It's perfect.
How is that perfect? I want to know who won. We've invested all this time.
Because if the movie showed a winner, it would completely defeat its own point. If Togashi wins, the message is talent is king, hard work is for suckers. If Komiya wins, the message is hard work beats talent every time. But the movie is screaming that neither of those things matters. That's not the point of the race.
So,
Bro.
what is the final image? What do we see instead?
We see both men after the cut, and they're smiling. Smiling. After all the pain, the injuries, the obsession, the bitter smiles, the fear, they end up smiling, these pure, joyful smiles, like kids in a playground who just ran a race for fun.
They finally found the joy.
They realized that the meaning of running wasn't the glory. It wasn't the endorsements. It wasn't about finding the answer to everything. It was the pure joy of the act itself, the sensation of speed, the wind in your face, the burn in your lungs, the effort. They circled all the way back to the beginning.
They found the feeling that Togashi saw in those kids at the park, the feeling he'd lost.
Exactly. They became the kids in the park.
Well, that's actually really beautiful. And you mentioned before that the animation style plays a huge part in landing this feeling.
A massive part. The film uses a technique called rotoscoping.
Which is where they trace over live action footage.
Right. And it creates this hyper-realistic, but also slightly dreamlike quality. It's a fascinating choice.
Why choose that for this particular story?
Because standard anime, with its flash lines and speed blurs, can sometimes make movement look effortless, almost magical. But rotoscoping captures weight. It captures gravity. You see the ugliness of the effort. You see the grimace on their faces, the strain in their shoulders. It grounds the physical struggle, which makes the spiritual release at the end feel so much more earned. You feel every single agonizing step they take.
So wrapping this all up, what are we left with? If there's no answer at the finish line, no clear winner, what's the takeaway?
I think the film's ultimate message is that there are no easy answers. There is only effort. There is no right or wrong way to live your life. There is only the overwhelming presence of fear and the constant attempt to run through it anyway.
So in a strange way, Togashi was right at the very beginning. The 100 meters does decide value.
In a way, yes, but not the value of who is better. It decides the value of the effort itself. It highlights our biological imperative to have a finish line. We need a goal, any goal, to dedicate our lives to, even if that goal is completely arbitrary.
We need to be running towards something, even if it's just a line painted on a rubber track.
Exactly. The writer Haruki Murakami has this great quote in his book, What I Talk About When I Talk About Running. He says something like, "Running is not about living longer, but living fully, living vividly."
Living vividly. I like that a lot, even if it's just for 10 seconds at a time.
Especially if it's just for 10 seconds. Because in those 10 seconds, if you are truly, completely present, you are infinite.
Well, I think that is plenty for us to mull over today. A race with no winner, but a victory for everyone involved nonetheless.
A victory of the spirit, for sure.
Before we go, we have to sign off with that one line from the source material. It feels strangely appropriate for a story about battling your own internal demons.
It really does.
Yeah.
May the force be with you.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Goodbye, everyone.